under the sponsorship of Grupo de Gama.
Hello, welcome to Rumbo Minero. My name is Cesar Campos, and together with our producer Miguel Zaval, we will be in charge of hosting this program. How are you, Miguel? How are you, Cesar? I like being with you today. Well, on the 27th of July, the eve of the presidential message that we expect a lot from the head of the Peruvian state, Mrs. Dina Boluarte, as far as we are concerned, to promote the topic of mining and also construction, of course, and infrastructure. Hopefully she, Miguel, can focus well on the challenges that the state faces to unlock a series of projects and how we should support this whole process of relative economic growth that we are experiencing with the unlocking of such projects.
Yes, I think there are 2 or 3 important points. One is the issue of mining formalization, and the other is to combat illegal mining, right?
Surely she will also address the APEC summit, which is very important as Peru will be a host country for the 3rd time in its history. And about APEC and the participation, of course, of the Digama group, the group that is promoting the Rumbo Minero program, we will have the event in its 9th edition called Expomina 2024 from the 11th to the 13th of September regarding the matter and ministers' presence of mines from the Pacific zone, from the economic area Pacific region. We will discuss the matter with Ambassador Carlos Vasquez from our diplomatic service, the former president of the APEC senior officials meeting. So
yes, that's it. And we will also have Jaime Gálvez, former Minister of Energy and Mines, with whom we will discuss about the small-scale mining bill and regional mining MAPE, which has recently been presented for debate and discussion by various institutions.
That General Gálvez, as a former Minister of Energy and Mines, we will also ask him, of course, what he expects from the presidential message tomorrow. Let's go with Gabriela Chicoma for the main mining news of the week.
These are the main mining news of the week.
Sociedad Minera El Brocal stated that its investment plan is use dollars for this year, aimed at strengthening and expanding its operations. For this year, we have budgeted investments amounting to approximately a large portion of these directed towards the infrastructure of tailings deposits, as well as the implementation of processes like the hydraulic fill plant, reported Raul Benavides, former chairman of El Brocal. Between January and April last year, the total value of metallic and non-metallic exports recorded is US dollars, showing an annual increase of 1.9% compared to the same period of the previous year. According to the latest edition of the Mining Statistical Bulletin from the Ministry of Energy and Mines, representatives of the mining company MMG Las Bambas signed a framework agreement with the authorities and the people of Cotabambas Province and Progreso District in the province of Grau in the Apurimac region, committing to execute works under the tax works modality up to an amount of US dollar. This will continue its budget management before the Ministry of Education and the regional government of Apurimac.
Many thanks to Gabriela Chicoma for the main mining news of the week. As we announced in the program, it is pleasant to welcome Ambassador Carlos Vasquez, who is the president of the senior officials meeting of the Asia-Pacific Economic Forum, APEC, which, as we all know, for the 3rd time in history, Peru ends up being a host nation of leading world economies of this thriving region. Ambassador Vasquez, it is always a pleasure to have you here on our program. Thanks for the invitation. It is a pleasure for me as well. Very well. It might seem redundant, a truism, but I would like us to start the discussion by telling the audience the importance of not only the forum, Asia-Pacific Economic Forum, but also the fact that Peru, for the 3rd time, I reiterate, we are hosting this important event.
Well, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum is one of the most important economic cooperation mechanisms in the Pacific Basin, if not the most important, for 3 specific reasons. 60% of the global GDP global is concentrated in these 21 economies. 50% Almost 50% of economic, commercial, and investment transactions are concentrated in these 21 economies globally, and nearly 40% of the world's population resides within the APEC community, encompassing many nations. For these three reasons, I believe the forum is strong regarding the impact it can have on the growth of its 21 members. And it is also important for Peru to lead the forum for three reasons. One, we are reaffirming our commitment to globalization and economic liberalization as one of the main driving forces of economic growth and development, as shown over the past 20 years. Peru is leading ultimately these foundational principles of APEC, and thus becomes a reliable partner in that regard, and credible with significant, ultimately great credibility in the forum. That is my first point. Secondly, because we are utilizing the forum to show the world the investment and business opportunities that Peru has presented in recent years, particularly sectors as important as mining. We will discuss that later. And thirdly, a very important topic, Peru leads the agenda. That is to say, Peru proposed a motto and priorities adopted by all APEC economies for the year 2024, and that is crucial.
Ambassador Vásquez, I would also like you to comment on the activity schedule. We know that activities have already started since March, and that from August until November, they end with the central session of the leaders of the participating economies. Tell us a bit about the meetings that will take place from August until November.
The central date. Well, I think we are entering a decisive phase of the APEC year. In August, we will have what is called the third meeting of APEC senior officials and related events. And we will have three very important ministerial meetings. The ministerial meeting on food security, which will take place in Trujillo. And in that meeting, we want to achieve a very important deliverable as a result, which is a collection of principles designed to prevent and reduce the wastage and loss of food items, within the context of a series of objectives that have been adopted by APEC economies since the year 2020 and moving forward, when the sustainability pillar became one of the forum's key elements. That pertains to the meeting of agriculture ministers. Next, we have the energy ministers meeting, which will take place here in Lima on the 16th of August. And in that meeting, we have a very significant deliverable as well, which is a policy guide for the utilization of low-emission hydrogen in the Asia-Pacific region as an alternative energy source. The advantage of this energy is that it can decarbonize, lower pollution levels, and impact climate change across various industries, such as transportation, the steel industry, the cement industry, and the chemical sector. Although the hydrogen topic is still in development, it remains a nascent industry. It is very promising in terms of its potential impact on mitigating climate change effects and promoting clean energy. And the third ministerial meeting that we are going to have is a session or a high-level dialogue on health and economy led by the Ministry of Health. This will be on the 18th of August here in Lima.
Ambassador Vásquez, you know very well the great honor we have as Grupo de Gama and as the organizing committee of the 9th edition of Expomina since the year 74. The fact of being named as part of APEC activities, thanks to the support of the Ministry of Energy and Mines, and also thanks to the Foreign Ministry, and this event, which we will hold between the 11th and 13th of September, will also feature the presence of key figures in the mining sector from the leading economies of the Asia-Pacific region. Perhaps you can elaborate for our audience as well, because we have been talking with you as you are responsible for the senior officials meeting.
The mining topic is a subject that has always received a priority in APEC in recent years, well, since the year 2004 onwards. What we want is to reactivate the consideration of mining topics in APEC. Since 2018-19, they haven't been considered, I imagine, due to the pandemic's effects which impacted the APEC agenda. It was frozen, as you explained. The consideration of mining topics was somewhat frozen in those years because, well, it was not prioritized. The changes in the international system due to the pandemic, the technological and commercial rivalry between two major economies, and finally, the geopolitical tensions that we all know in the last 2 years made it necessary to readjust the agenda of the forum. But we want to bring the mining topic back to the forum's consideration for a crucial matter, the role of critical minerals for energy transition. Moreover, many APEC economies approached us. We conducted a survey with them, and they agreed with Peru on the need to reactivate a debate about the role that these critical minerals can play in the energy transition. And that is one of the topics that will take place in the high-level meeting or dialogue of mining ministers that is going to take place on the 11th of September here in Lima. There is going to be a visit to Arequipa, first and foremost, by the ministers participating in this high-level dialogue. And then this dialogue will take place covering 3 topics. As I mentioned initially, the role of critical minerals in the energy transition, and copper has a fundamental role to play, unlike others, such as graphite, cobalt, manganese, and so forth, and nickel. And the second topic is the need to apply innovations in the mining industry, particularly digital ones, including artificial intelligence, and so on, how it can impact the mining industry and the possibilities for the industry to be more productive, more competitive, and able to pollute the environment less. And finally, the topic of small-scale or artisanal mining and so forth, which in Peru has special characteristics, as you all know. Those would be the 3 main topics that would be part of the high-level dialogue agenda.
Ambassador, the theme of the event is to empower, include, and grow, highlighting the importance of economic inclusion, sustainability, and innovation. What are the future perspectives and opportunities within the APEC framework?
Well, APEC made the decision to readjust its schedule in the year of that consensus document approved in 2020, mainly due to the pandemic's effects. APEC was guided by the so-called Bogor goals, approved in 1994, which were in effect until 2020. The Bogor goals indicated that the relatively higher growth countries of the forum would fully liberalize their economies by the year 2010, and the more developed and less developed ones by the year 2020. Then there was, in short, the need to adjust these proposals, and the APEC Vision 2040 was approved with 3 main pillars: the pillar of traditional APEC topics, the pillar of digitalization and innovation, and the pillar of sustainability and social inclusion. Precisely due to the effects caused by the pandemic, which in some economies were truly devastating, especially for small and medium enterprises in many of the APEC economies. So the issue of social inclusion has now become crucial, and several important ministerial declarations were approved in Arequipa, such as the Declaration on Women and the Economy, the Declaration on Women and Trade. The inclusion of women in regional trade networks has become a crucial topic, and sustainability due to, for instance, the Bangkok goals on circular and green economy approved 2 years ago. And the issue of food loss and waste is a follow-up to the decisions adopted in Bangkok. So our deliverables on food loss and waste and low-emission hydrogen have future tracking mechanisms. We will see how they will be implemented in APEC economies. As you know, the APEC Forum is a place where decisions are made by consensus but are not binding, they are not mandatory, but there is always a necessity to present individual action plans through which member states inform their peers in the forum about how they are applying those commitments.
Ambassador Vásquez, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. We greatly appreciate your presence here, but a brief final reflection on what will be the main APEC event, which is the inauguration of the operational launch of the port, the mega port of Chiang Kai, where President Xi Jinping of China will be present.
Well, I do believe that the port of Chongqing could signify an extremely important turning point in the reconciliation of the ties of Peru and South America with the Asian markets, which are centered around the Chinese axis, the main industrial economy of the area and the planet. Global manufacturing production is concentrated in China. So I believe that the inauguration of the port of Chongqing is, as I mentioned, a significant turning point, but it must be accompanied by the inauguration of additional measures. The port itself is not sufficient. Therefore,
there is the exclusive economic zone, which includes collateral
we
elements.
need to develop significant infrastructure to support the port as the anchor or the main engine of connection with Asian economies starting from China. Because although there will be direct maritime routes with Chinese ports, from there Peru can be commercially linked with nearby Asian economies in Southeast Asia, Japan and Korea. So I believe it is necessary for Peru to think not only about the port, but also about all the complementary infrastructure that will make the port more productive and competitive.
Thank you very much for being with us, and truly we wish you even more success than you are having in what is to come. This organization is always complex for such a large event that gathers the 21 leading economies of the Pacific Basin area. We will have it on another occasion. Thank you very much. Thanks for that. Carlos Vasquez, president of the APEC Senior Officials Meeting, was here with us on mining course. We now pass again to Gabriela Chicoma to bring us information about Expomina.
Thank you very much. Expomina Peru from the 11th to the 13th of September 2024 will be chaired by Luis Rivera, Executive Vice President of Golfes Las Americas. Highlight your brand through the various sponsorships we offer at Expomina Peru, networking opportunities, participation in exclusive activities, promotion in media outlets, among other significant benefits. For more information, please visit our website at www.expominaperu.com.
Prepare to become a talent in the mining industry by studying and living in the same place. In less than 11 months, you can achieve your dream with a technical career at Setamin, the only boarding school in Peru. We provide a comprehensive environment for your education, offering everything you need to study and achieve success. Visit setamin.edu.pe for more information. Very tasty.
We return to our very interesting segment of the International Block American Mining, as always connected from Wall Street, New York City, with José Gonzales, who is also the editor-in-chief of the international section of our magazine, Rumbo Minero. José, always a pleasure to be in touch.
Likewise, Cesar, happy national holidays.
Happy peace holidays. Let's hope it is for everyone. Look, the growing demand for electronic products is coming along with a deficit between the supply and the demand for critical minerals. And this has suddenly focused on a significant boom, right, in the recycling of metals, as we have been informed. I would like you to elaborate more on this particular point. Who are the players, the key actors in this game, and what impact will it have on conventional mining due to this metal recycling?
That's right, Cesar. According to Research and Markets, as the production and consumption of devices such as smartphones, laptops, tablets, and home appliances increase, so does the generation of electronic waste, also known as e-waste, which is referred to as e-waste in English. These devices contain valuable metals like copper and aluminum, gold, and silver that can be recovered and recycled due to the higher volume of waste and the rising prices of critical minerals, as you mentioned. The recycling of metals from electronic waste, which is a new market in the metal recycling industry, is crucial for conserving resources and reducing the environmental impact of mining and processing new metals. This new market adds to the traditional scrap metal market, which can be ferrous or non-ferrous, old or new, involving large mining companies with smelting and refining capabilities, and represents around several $billion annually, projected to reach even higher amounts by the year. Industry in general is seen as an integral part of the new circular economy models, with particular demand for recycled metals being the automotive industry in the transition to electric vehicles, which will prioritize the use of recycled metals to reduce the industry's impact on the environment. Consumers are increasingly demanding to know what the carbon emissions are for their flights. Nowadays, they tell you this flight will emit so many carbon emissions. The same will happen with electric cars, and recycling is a significant pressure to make it so, not just to cut costs. According to Bloomberg, those markets and the copper telephone market are being joined by telecom companies such as AT&T. British Telecom and Orange, notes the news agency, citing TXO, a firm providing engineering services in the telecom industry, that the replacement of copper wire with fiber optics in telephony could recover 800,000 metric tons of copper worth $7 billion. The margins of urban mining are significant because they exceed 30%. Now, the e-waste recycling market is expected to reach 552 million this year and 768 million in 2029. It will be increasingly important but will not compete with conventional mining. It will help to address the structural deficit that is being generated. What happens is that there are many significant companies capitalizing because as we demand more critical minerals, recycling will need to scale up. It's like a virtuous cycle because the more electronics we buy and discard, recycling will become an essential part of the new mining.
Jose, continuing with our coverage heading to Expomina this year within the framework of CONFEMIN, we would like you to explain to us what the dynamics of the forum will be about education and innovation and who
join. Gladly, Miguel. According to the European Union, educational institutions such as schools and universities must evolve and adapt to fulfill their fundamental mission, which is to educate students so they can achieve success in a complex and interconnected world that faces rapid technological, cultural, economic, and demographic changes to generate positive synergies between innovation and education. Santander Open Academy emphasizes the importance of involving all stakeholders, the equipment, methodologies, content, and teachers, from the perspective of technology, pedagogy, and also psychology, doing things radically and differently from the ground up. Thus, innovation in education is a conscious and deliberate process, constant and creative, to achieve better quality in current education and create change agents for the future. Nothing more relevant for the mining sector in Peru. Our Forum on Education and Innovation aims to focus on promoting innovation in research within mining careers and activities, bringing together distinguished professionals and academics in mining to share their experiences and success stories. The forum is chaired by Marilu Martins de Aguirre, who is the Minister of Education of Peru, and each forum, as you know, includes 4 experts familiar with the respective field, who, along with the forum leader, will discuss the topic. We will meet at the Yoki Convention Center in September. The date is approaching quickly.
Jose, as always, thank you very much for such valuable information. And of course, we will be connected next week, probably already measuring the impacts of President Dina Boluarte's message to the nation. Wishing you a wonderful day.
Likewise, a big hug.
This was Jose Gonzales, the international editor of our magazine, Rumbo Minero, which you cannot miss. Everything that he illustrates, Jose Gonzales, reporting from Wall Street, New York. Also, valuable information about the mining sector. You can find it in the leader magazine of the industry, Rumbo Minero. Additionally, you can access it for free to all of its available content by going online to the website www.rumbominero.com, and that's it, completely free of charge. Stay well informed about the mining sector through Rumbo Minero.
leads. Well, that's right. It's time to move on to the AMSAC mining assets block.
AMSAC Mining Assets is a Peruvian public company with a great purpose: to restore life to the planet. Thus, we are dedicated to contributing to the sustainable development of the country through mining environmental remediation. At AMSAC, we recover areas affected by high and very high-risk mining liabilities, which are abandoned or where the state has not identified those responsible parties. In this line of work, today we are present in 11 regions of Peru with a portfolio of 65 remediation projects, which are located in various phases. The promotion of private investment. At AMSAC, we represent the Peruvian state as a counterpart in the transfer contracts of significant projects mining, and we also oversee the fulfillment of the commitments and obligations that are part of these processes. Today we lead in business management. Among the 35 companies of the FONAFE Corporation, we hold ISO 9001 certification in quality management, ISO 14001 in environmental management, ISO 37001 in anti-bribery management, and ISO 45001 in occupational health and safety management. At AMSAC, sustainability and caring for the planet are in our DNA, and that is why we are proud to help create a better world by restoring air, water and land, soil and ecosystems affected by mining liabilities, thus contributing to 10 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Restoring life to the planet is more than just a phrase for us. It guides our daily actions and efforts, with which we positively impact the lives of thousands of Peruvians, and through them, our country as a whole.
As we had announced, we now have the pleasure of introducing Jaime Gálvez, former Minister of Energy and Mines in the transitional government. Engineer Francisco Sagasti, with him, we are going to have a discussion about the bill for small-scale and artisanal mining, which has been called the MAPI law. Jaime, a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you very much, Cesar Miguel. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
I have on the Ministry of Energy and Mines portal this bill that has already emerged from their own sources. It was fueled by a series of inputs of meetings held by senior minion officials with academic bodies and interested parties from the sector. And of course, it aims to finally address the status of our informal and artisanal mining, which has been a long-standing issue. Firstly, Jaime, what do you think of the proposal as it stands?
I find it an interesting and valuable proposal, a good starting point to advance on this very complex issue, because it presents significant challenges to Peru's governance and the future of mining, which are crucial for the country's development. Exactly.
Today, because we also have in the middle the ongoing process of extension of the formalization registry, the famous REINFO, which definitely has to be completed by December and give way to a regulation that is now at least much more conducive for this sector.
Yes, of course. REINFO was born with good intentions, but it gradually turned into a sort of carte blanche, which allowed illegal miners to disguise themselves among informal miners in the process of formalization and thus conduct their business activities, but without truly formalizing. This system has brought us to the current situation we are in now, and it is urgent to make changes.
Jaime, why did it fail? Why did REINFO fail? That is one of the questions I have, and also one of the main focuses of this bill presented by the Ministry of Energy and Mines is to strengthen regional governments through the regional energy and mines directorates and managements in the exercise of all supervision, oversight for the formalization process of mining. It even talks about hiring third parties for this process. Initially, the Minister of Energy and Mines, Romulo Lucho, mentioned that all this could be centralized directly again with the ministry and no longer under the responsibility of the regional directions. What is your viewpoint on this matter? Is it okay to hire a third party or outsource that service, or should the Ministry of Energy and Mines handle it directly? Let's see.
The issue of the Ministry of Energy and Mines leading the process is challenging because the decentralization law gives power to the governments in this matter. But what I believe the law does is allow for better oversight and support of this process. There we have a structural weakness, which is why we cannot be 100% sure that the new law will work completely, but I do believe it is a step forward because it allows the Ministry of Energy and Mines to have a more active role and also supports all technical assistance to artisanal miners. I believe that without technical help, it is impossible for 80% of artisanal miners to comply with all the bureaucracy required by the state.
It should be the role in any case of the large mining companies. We are talking about units that are and require a significant investment, which have very advanced logistics, because we detect through some inquiries that have been made even on social media platforms, a kind of distrust that exists within the mining sector, artisanal, and part of the informal sector, of course, regarding the behavior of big companies. Is that justified?
I believe we need to learn to work together because it benefits the entire country and both the large miners and the small miners and artisanal miners to cooperate. Where there has been collaboration, there have been many successful cases, although small, not only of formalization, but also of technical assistance and support from large mining to artisanal mining. But there is still a lot of mistrust because within artisanal mining, illegal and even criminal groups operate, as we have seen with the patas issue.
Incidentally, on the patas issue, Jaime, well, a couple of weeks ago, there was a new attack during a state of emergency in this area. A new attack on Minera Poderosa where 3 workers were injured and kidnapped. One of them was later, fortunately, eventually released. Well, it's the first time we have you here on the show, Motam. We also wanted your perspective on what the government is doing or should do to combat illegal mining. Because we see they have appointed a high commissioner, but still we do not see a clear strategy to fight not only illegal mining, not just in Patas, Madre de Dios, the Southern Mining Corridor, among other areas.
In general, it's difficult from the Ministry of Energy and Mines, and I imagine also for the High Commissioner, to mobilize all the public forces for effective action. I remember that in the transitional government, we managed some operations, but it wasn't easy since the police always ask for funds, and that goes through the MF, and time passes, and actions are not taken quickly and timely. In this case, I think good decisions have been made in Patas, but we face challenges, the structural problems of the functioning of the Peruvian state and the exercise of authority. So we have seen that when the military are present, the police are present, but they do not act promptly to remove the illegal ones. They do not take timely and swift action, but they wait for a long time. It is still a very slow system, and for these types of emergencies, something more expeditious is needed.
We discussed with Miguel and Jaime during the program's intro the importance of being a day away from our national holiday celebration, July 28th, which also carries the message from the head of Peru, the President Dina Boluarte. What can we expect, or what would Jaime Gálvez expect from this speech regarding mining? What needs to be leveraged through commitment and dedication, of course, and President Boluarte's own identity with the future of mining in Peru?
I believe the President has fully understood that mining is very crucial for the country, and she is trying to support it. And I think part of that is the appointment of Minister Rómulo Mucho. I think she will continue to supporting, but one of the key announcements is, for example, this MAPES law. It is important that the President ensures it is not just an initiative of the minister, but it should be a government initiative, as there are many sectors that interact with the Ministry of Energy and Mines to ensure projects proceed or to address social conflicts or illegality. So the President must show that this project is not just a ministry initiative, but a government initiative. It will be a great support.
You also expect that tomorrow's speech by President Edina Boluarte can provide a stronger backing to the Tia Maria project. Well, it has been mentioned in recent weeks with the start of construction. Well, we have also seen some mobilizations where the president, the state president Roja or Saldo Rocha had said that it is impossible to have 100% of the population happy with the project. But we have also seen left-wing congressmen mobilize with anti-mining rhetoric there with their anti-mining speech. How do you think this social issue in Tia Maria should be handled so that the project can finally proceed as it should?
I think it is not a good idea for the president to take using this as a flag. First, she signed a document against the project during the campaign. And second, because her popularity is very low. So putting the president at the forefront of this does not help the project proceed. I think it's better that this be handled by the Minister of Energy and Mines with the regional governor and with local authorities, along with the company, to try to create an atmosphere for dialogue. It's hard to get out of yellow without a dialogue process established. That's my perception. I hope the project can proceed because it would mark a very significant change for the perception of investors internationally. But I believe that if some form of dialogue were established, where everyone could voice their opinions and some of the population's demands could be addressed, it would help the project proceed.
Jaime, it's a pleasure to have you here at Rumbo Minero, and of course we are committed to inviting you again to always have your interesting, informed opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Jaime Gálvez, former Minister of Energy and Mines, was here in this segment of our program. Up next, we have Gabriela Chicoma and more info about Expomina.
Thank you very much. Expomina, Peru, the largest and most important mining event in Peru of 2024. With 16 years of history, do business with the mining sector of Peru and America. Expomina, Peru, from the 11th to the 13th of September 2024 at the Joken Lima Expo Center. Portfolio of mining projects in Peru worth over $53 million and a portfolio of mining projects in America worth USD. Invest now with the leaders. Join Expomina Peru this year. For more information, please visit our website at www.expominaperu.com.
We are the leading industrial supply purchasing center in Peru. We have 53 years of experience providing efficient, flexible, and reliable supply services, with an offering of over 1 million codes in partnership with national and international suppliers. Visit us at www.efc.com. EFC, you need it. We make it happen.
We are Cerbosa, the leaders in the field of transportation and logistics for highly complex cargo. With over 24 years of experience, our achievements speak for themselves, driving us to continue offering services with the highest international standards. We travel more than 3.1 million kilometers and transport over 190,000 tons each month. We have more than 700 trucks in our own fleet, over 2,300 employees, and 6 logistics hubs nationwide, which validate our commitment to excellence. Cerbosa, with over 2 decades of transporting safety, security, and trust.
A company dedicated to the acquisition and processing of gold ore, committed to sustainable development and social responsibility. We guarantee the complete traceability of all our products. We utilize cutting-edge industrial technologies that allow us to ensure efficiency in the production process, maximize our resources, and protect the environment, fulfilling our commitment to preserving nature. Pautarum and SAC, together we are better.
Well, we have reached the end of the Rumbo Minero program. Miguel, I think we had a very interesting conversation. Additionally, it was very enlightening from the ambassador's side, Carlos Vasquez, who leads the meeting of high-ranking APEC officials, about how the dynamics will be of this important meeting. Starting with what is coming in August, which you asked about, how in our main event, which will be Expomina from the 11th to the 13th of September, where we will address 3 fundamental topics, as he himself mentioned.
Therefore, what the ambassador mentioned, well, APEC activities have been ongoing since March. And in August, September, and until November, which will be the main date, there are many activities related to various industries.
And Jaime Gálvez, of course, with the experience of being the Energy and Mines Minister, has at least some confidence that the MAPI law might help a bit, but in reality, the world of small-scale and artisanal mining is very complex, and it would still be necessary to move other levers for this to be well targeted, with the support, of course, of large-scale mining.
Yes, that's right, Cesar. Well, it is crucial to already have this legislative project ready for the month of December, which will replace the Reinfo that ends on the 31st of December.
Very well. My name is Cesar Campos. Miguel Zavala is also with us. He has joined us in hosting Rumbo Minero. Don't move because Peru Construy is coming up next to talk about construction and infrastructure.
Be part of the mining event of the year Expomina Peru 2024, proud to be part of the activities within the APEC framework. Therefore, we present the Forum of Ministers of Mining from Asia-Pacific Economies, which will take place within Expomina 2024 from September 11th to 13th at the Yoki Exhibition Center in Lima, Peru. Join leaders and experts to explore the challenges and opportunities of Peru's mining industry to the world. The inclusion of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC in Expomina 2024, represents a milestone in global mining events and a unique opportunity to enhance the collaboration and exchange of knowledge in the mining sector internationally. This important forum will bring together prominent leaders and experts in the mining field to address the challenges and opportunities facing the industry in the Asia-Pacific region. Expomina 2024 will be an unmissable event for suppliers and mining companies. We warmly invite you to participate in our grand and significant fair. Do business with the mining sector, become a sponsor, or reserve your booth and actively participate in Expomina Peru 2024. More information about the most important mining trade fair can be found at www.expominaperu.com. Invest wisely. Invest with the leading experts.